I definitely say know your worth and make
Mm,
sure you're not undercharging because leaving money on the table. But
yep.
another really big one that I've noticed in my life, just looking back now, is just choosing your circle wisely.
Mm.
Because as you know, we've talked about this before. Like we were in the bartending
Oh, yeah.
industry, entertainment industry, which is it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of partying, it's a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
So
You
I
literally
noticed when I
become who you hang out with. And
exactly.
yeah! What's up, everybody? Your life alchemist, your dragon. Welcome to Alchemize Life. I'm your host, Justin David Carl. This is a show where I seek out and share expertise, wisdom, and thought leadership in all domains with the mission of empowering and inspiring you to proactively design and truly live a life worth living. We're all in this together, and when we do the work together, we go so much farther, so much faster, and have so much more fun. Without further ado, let's dig into this episode and alchemize life. Stephanie Manzinali, aka That Vegan Babe. Welcome to the show. It is so good to have you on. I really appreciate you taking the time to connect with me and share all of your awesome wisdom, insight, and expertise when it comes to food, fitness, and living a really awesome life. How are you doing today?
Awesome. I'm great. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm super excited. Always fun to talk to you. Your
Likewise.
high energy.
You know the dragon's got a lot of fire.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Well, for those who are unfamiliar with That Vegan Babe, just to give a quick intro, she is a very well-known food blogger and content creator on Instagram and other platforms at That Vegan Babe. And she just creates some of the most like fun, delicious, like healthy, nutritious meals out there. And she's someone that I connected with. She's actually a fellow veg athlete with me, and she just really lives an incredible, vegan, fit, rich vegan lifestyle. And I wanted to bring her on the show to really, share her story, her entrepreneurial story, her, fitness journey, her vegan journey, because she's an inspiration to me and many others. And if I can share her with more people, heck, why not? We're all in this together. So to kick things off, a lot of my listeners are really into like entrepreneurship and kind of building their dream work life. And being like a food blogger and a content creator sounds like such an awesome like career. I'm curious if you could share with us like how did that all come to be? What is your entrepreneurial origin story?
Yeah, for sure. To start off, I never really thought of myself as an entrepreneur. Like when I was younger, I never had in my head that I was going to go be my own boss, be an entrepreneur. It almost kind of fell into my lap, like me just kind of following my passions and what I enjoyed and what I liked. So it really all started when I went vegan, which was about 6 years ago now. When I went vegan, I just knew that I wanted to help as many people as I could discover the lifestyle and just help them be healthier, happier, just help the animals and the planet. So that was always like in the back of my head. That's always what I loved doing. But along the way, I would always just work random jobs here and there, which I loved. I loved everything that I did always. But I would always, even in those jobs, try to inspire people to be vegan. Like I would always bring a delicious vegan lunch to my job, and everybody would be like, "Oh my god, what's that?" And I worked in a lot of restaurants, so like everybody's eating the restaurant food, the same dish over and over again, and I'd have like a crazy different meal like every single day. They're like, "Oh my god, what's that? Can I have a bite?" So like I was always trying to show people like, yeah, vegan food can be good, So I was always doing whatever I could. And then when COVID hit, I was bartending at the time and in school to be a firefighter. And I was laid off from my bartending job. And then I was at home. I had so much free time on my hands. And I basically just started cooking up a storm like all day and all night. It's always been a really big passion of mine. And my boyfriend had just moved in with us. I was living at my parents' house at the time because I had just moved back to Canada from living overseas. So he moved in with us and he wasn't vegan at the time. And I would be cooking all these insane vegan dishes that he had never tasted before. He didn't even know it was possible to have vegan food that tasted good. And he just kept telling me, like, you have to post these recipes. Like, people need to see these recipes. So I started posting on TikTok and Instagram, and it just blew up. And I worked really hard. I posted a video like every single day at that point just to really grow, and because I had so much free time. Like I was basically getting paid by the government to like stay home and make recipe videos. So I just went full force ahead and it just exploded, and I was able to like fully quit my bartending job, and then I quit firefighting, but then I realized it would probably cut us out here. So yeah, so then I quit my bartending job and I quit firefighting school and I just went full speed ahead, and now it's just developed into my career, and that was about a year and a half ago to 2 years ago that I've been doing this full time now.
That's awesome. Okay, so give us a couple questions to kind of like fill out the story. One, how long were you kind of just like creating tons of content, but still having to work other jobs to pay the bills? Like, how long were you kind of doing double duty where you're like working a day job and then also kind of like had your
Mm-hmm,
passion
mm-hmm.
project at the same time?
Well, for me, it was honestly really easy because I wasn't working during COVID at all because I was laid off from my bartending job. So I went like full time pretty much into creating content. Like I would spend 10 to 12 hours a day filming and editing and just making recipes. So I guess during COVID, that was maybe six six or 7 months that I went like full speed ahead, like 10 to 12 hours almost every single day. And then when everything opened back up, I think I was bartending and in school for maybe another 4 months,
Hmm.
4 to 6 months. And that's when I was doing both at the same time. Obviously, I had to cut down a little bit on the content creation because I had to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly got really lucky. Like it was a lot of hard work, but I was able to just dedicate so much more time to it because of the situation that I was in.
Yeah. So you pretty much put in, I mean, 10 to 12 hours a day is like a full-time job. So when you were
Oh
like at
yeah.
home, you were treating it like a full-time job. And like, when you're at
Hmm.
home for 6 months working for 10 to 12 hours, like at what point did you start to like monetize it where you actually started to create income for yourself? Like, I guess my question is like, how long did you have to work for free before it started to like create like some revenue for yourself?
I would say it was about 8 months in that I was making a very small amount.
Okay.
I definitely could not live off of it. It was under $1,000, like well under $1,000 the first few months. And it gradually I scaled up and up. It was also because I was undercharging as well because I didn't know my worth at the time. And
Yeah.
it's just not talked about, the rates for content creators. Unless
Yeah.
you talk to other people in your niche, you have no idea what to charge. So I was charging when my account was fairly large, I was charging literally 10 times under the rate that I should have been charging, which I found out after talking to a fellow content creator in the space who did kind of similar things to me. I remember my jaw was like dropped to the floor when she told me that. I thought she was joking.
That's crazy. And we can cut this out if you don't want me to ask, but can may I ask like what you were originally charging?
Yeah, so at the time, I think I was charging $300 for a post, for like a video post, and
Mhm.
she told me to charge 2,500 to 3,000 for a post.
That
So
is a huge difference.
literally 10 times. I was
Yeah.
like floored. I messaged her and I said, "Are you sure? That seems like a lot more than I was expecting because I had no idea what people were charging for this."
Yeah.
And she said, "Trust me, just when brands reach out to you, give them that rate and they'll say yes." And I remember the first brand that said yes, I was jumping up and down from excitement. I just like couldn't believe it. It's
Yeah.
like this like it oh, it was a exciting time. It was
That
almost unbelievable
Yeah, I
to
mean, heck
me.
yeah. I mean, from 300 to 3,000, that's a massive 10x jump.
Yeah.
That must have been so freaking exciting. I'm curious, did you have to like ask for that 2,500 to 3,000 a few times and get like a couple of people just walk away, or did you just immediately start asking like the next first person said yes?
Yeah, well, I think it was the first company that I gave it to. They said yes, but it always depends on the company, right? I think that was just luck. It was a very big company with
Yeah.
a huge marketing budget. They're very well known. So even
Yeah.
now, I'll give my rate to people to different companies. If it's a smaller company, or if it's on their budget, they'll say no or they'll lowball like crazy. I still have people offering or companies offering me $300 for a TikTok video.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, sorry. So
Yeah.
I think I lucked out. I think it was maybe the first or second company that I gave my rate to that they said yes. And
Yeah.
I was just in shock. I was like, this is too good to be true. I
Yeah.
just didn't believe it.
Well, that's great. So I'm curious, how did you find and connect with the fellow content creator that was, kind of, it sounds like he or she was kind of like ahead of you on the kind of like food
Hmm.
blogger content creator journey. A, was he or she ahead of you?
Hmm.
And then
Yeah,
B,
yeah.
how did you actually connect with him or her?
Yeah, she was ahead of me. I think she might have been doing it 2 or 3 years before I had started.
Okay.
So I knew that, and I could tell she was doing tons of brand sponsorships and she was very professional. So I've connected with a few people in the space. At the beginning, it was just commenting on their videos, like saying stuff in their DMs. At the beginning, obviously, when my account was smaller, they didn't notice the messages.
Yeah.
But then once I came to a certain level and they would see some of my videos, like, hey, this girl, I know her. And then
Yeah.
we would just kind of connect and start a conversation from there.
That's great. So you had the gumption to kind of like lay the path to building a relationship with these people before you were like well known. And I think that's such a great strategy. There's several great strategies within there that I just want to kind of draw out. One, like first and foremost, you put in 8 months of 10 to 12 hours of like serious work with like making nothing. Just like
Hmm.
work honing your skills, building your content,
Exactly.
like getting better and better at what you do, and just, creating a ton of free content essentially, and basically working for free for 8 months for 10 to
Yeah.
12, like a full-time job, 10 to 12 hours a day.
Yeah,
And I'm guessing you're probably working not just Monday through Friday, but probably 6 or 7 days a week.
for sure.
Yeah. And then secondly, you started laying the foundation to your future kind of colleagues, like by engaging with
Hmm.
their content, commenting on it, sending them DMs, and then while you're also continuing to build your own brand. And then
Hmm.
obviously once you kind of got a certain brand recognition for yourself, a certain number of following, a certain level of views and likes on your posts, then they started to respond to you because they could tell like, oh, she's coming up, like I want to connect with her, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I think it's really important to draw that out for other people who are interested in doing this. And I'm guessing you kind of like share the same philosophy as me, that the world is like infinitely abundant. It's like it's not like because there's another food blogger you can't be a food blogger, or
Hmm.
they'll take business from you, because it's like
Hmm.
different food brands are attracted to different personalities and different like food bloggers, right? And content
For
creators.
sure.
And then same thing with like the audience, like certain people that love your stuff aren't going to love another like content food blogger creators stuff. And it's like, I think the fact that you and your future colleagues were not afraid to like connect
Hmm.
and like actually like work together and help each other out is really powerful, because it's not like a zero sum game. It's like teamwork makes the dream work.
100%. There's room for everybody, and really in any field, especially in social media, because there's millions of people on the app, and it's like different strokes for different folks as well. Like even especially in the space that I'm in, because of like I'm very passionate about veganism. If somebody likes somebody else's plant-based recipes better than mine, go watch them. As long as you're cooking more plant-based food, I'm happy. Let's just all motivate everyone to eat more plant-based food. That's kind of my view on it, and we can all help each other out.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
yeah.
How do food bloggers like actually make money? Like, is it just like they give you $2,500 to $3,000 per post, or are there like multiple avenues? Like, can you walk us through like all the different like revenue streams that like your business, that Vegan Babe, actually generates?
Yeah, for sure. I get this question all the time. People just can't fathom like how me posting recipes, like I could make money off of it, which I always thought like I would see people's blogs online, their recipes. I'm like, why do people do this?
Yeah.
Why would you write a recipe and put it online? Like who does this? I remember thinking when I was younger. So as a food blogger, there's a few different streams of income that you can have. The first one, and probably the largest one for, especially if you're newer into the space, is branded content. So sponsored content when you're partnering with different brands that you love and you share with your audience, either through posts like reels or videos or stories. And some people even do it on their blog as well, like sponsored content with your blog.
Hmm.
Obviously, you only partner with brands that you love and that you
Hmm.
want to share with your audience. So that's probably the biggest earner of revenue for a lot of accounts, because it's really based on how many views you're like. If you have a bigger account and you have a lot of views and a lot of engagement, brands are willing to pay for your marketing services because you have such a specific niche. Like for me, it's whole food, plant-based, high protein recipes. So it's a
Yeah.
very niche product. So these companies are willing to put their budget towards that rather than a TV commercial
Yeah.
or a radio commercial where the audience is so broad. So that's probably one of the biggest sources of revenue. Another one is blog ads. So
Hmm.
advertising revenue from your blog where you post your recipes. This one can be a lot harder to build because blogs typically take quite a while to build. Obviously, if you have a social media presence and you're pushing people over to your blog, that can help you increase your advertising revenue as well. And that can actually be like one of the biggest revenue earners for content creators, because some people don't put their recipes in the caption.
Hmm.
They'll just push everyone over to their blog, which it's honestly a great financial move. And some people do it where you just optimize your SEO on your blog so that through Google, people will find your recipes that way as well.
Yeah.
And then after that, you can do meal plans. You can sell ebooks. So ebooks would be like a one, like ebooks and meal plans would be like a one-off
Hmm.
type of thing that people buy. Or you could also develop an app or a website
Hmm.
and do a meal plan like that. There's actually a lot. I recently found out about this. There's these things called whitelisting apps where you basically just rent the app from a company, from a business who's already developed the app, and
Hmm.
you put in all of your own recipes, your workouts if you want to do that as well. So it's all streamlined, because otherwise you would have to pay like $150,000 to develop the app yourself. It's just a huge upfront cost.
Yeah.
And then other than that, you can also create your own product as well that you could sell to your audience, something that they would love as well.
Yeah.
And which I haven't got to yet, but I would love to in the future. And a cookbook as well.
Mm.
You could also make a cookbook as well. But that
Yeah.
is something to be weary of, because there's tons of companies that will reach out. They're like, hey, like I want to pay you this amount of money for a cookbook. And you can get a lot of really bad offers. The way to go with this, I talked to one of my food blogger friends. The way to go about that would be to find a literary agent, and they would kind of represent you and negotiate with the big publishing brands or the publishing companies to get a cookbook for yourself
Yeah.
to publish.
So tons of different ways to make money, provided that you're creating awesome content.
Yes.
That's great. So would you recommend that people, if they're interested in this line of work or really any kind of like business building on social media, that they niche down versus like trying to be all things to all people?
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of different people that that can be beneficial. That's what I did as well. I mean, I'm not an expert on the subject. That's what I did, and that's what I've heard a lot of other people do, and I think it kind of makes sense. But then again, you see other big pages that just do healthy recipes overall, and they do really well as well. So, I mean, I think it could be successful either way, but I think it's probably better if you niche down just for brand partnerships and all that type of stuff, because then it's very niche, and then your audience knows exactly what they're getting when they come to your page. But I really think you could do it either way. That's just how I did it.
Yeah. I think, you either consciously or subconsciously did it, but I think you just focus on, like, you followed your passion. Like, you love high protein, mostly whole food, plant-based meals.
Hmm.
You do some like, not 100% whole food. Like, you have some
Hmm.
fun with some of the other things that are slightly processed, but like
Hmm.
you're really targeting those people who are looking for those high protein vegan meals, because that's
For
what you want,
sure.
right?
For sure. That's how I've really always eaten. And I actually started my page mostly as just whole food plant-based recipes.
Hmm.
And then now that it's evolved, I've kind of realized, why am I not doing high protein plant-based recipes that are also whole foods? Because there's not a lot of pages out there
Yeah.
that offer that. So that's why I've kind of branched off into the high protein vegan recipes, which is what I eat anyways. It's more true to me. So you kind of just
Yeah.
like figure it out as you
Yeah.
go along.
Hey there, just a few words about the incredible show sponsors for today's episode, and then we'll dig right back in. Today's show is brought to you by Veg Nutrition. Live better. So, I'm actually a veg elite athlete, and before I joined the team, I spent months doing my due diligence to make sure that the company was vision, mission, and value aligned with me, my values, my mission, my vision, and my lifestyle. I got to know the owners super well. I even got to know the person who formulates all the products, and they passed with flying colors. So I couldn't be more excited to represent a company that I feel so aligned with. And I want to tell you about two of my favorite products. The first is the veg pre workout. So when I first went vegan, or mostly vegan, the last thing for me to go fully vegan was finding a vegan pre workout that gave me the focus, the energy, and the power that I was looking for. And I can tell you, this is the best pre workout that I've ever had. It gives me incredible focus and energy. And what's probably the best is it leaves me with no crash after I take it, which is great. And the flavors are so freaking good. There's literally peach mango and a Patriot Pop that tastes like, the firecracker popsicles, cherry lemon lime flavor. They're literally so good that I can dry scoop them. And they just released a watermelon flavor for just in time for summer, and it's incredible. So that's the first product. The second product is arguably also my favorite, and that's the plant protein. Comes in three incredible flavors: chocolate peanut butter, vanilla ice cream, and cold brew coffee. Yep, you heard me. Cold brew coffee flavor. It tastes incredible, all three flavors, 25 grams of protein, fully organic, incredible ingredients, heavy metal tested, and it is my go to post workout. Make sure that I'm recovering and refueling and giving my muscles the protein that they need to rebuild for that next workout. So go to vegnutrition.com/dragon and try their full line of supplements, and you'll get 15% off. Or you can just use Dragon at checkout and you'll get 15% off. So that's vegnutrition.com/dragon to get 15% off. Veg Nutrition, live better. True story. I send my coaching clients to your page because,
Oh, no way.
like, yeah, so for Fit Rich Vegan, like, they're always like trying to figure out, like, because anytime anyone starts like a fitness, if they've never, been on a fitness plan and an eating plan, like when they start realizing how little protein they actually get versus how much like they need to be getting to build the body that they want, they're like, how the
Hmm.
heck do I do that? And I'm just like, just go follow that vegan babe. Like she has so many incredible meals that are all high protein, and like it'll make it fun for you. So I
Oh,
definitely
thank you for that.
100%. I mean, just like you're creating exactly the recipes I need. Like at some point, I'm gonna have to like have you do a Fit Rich Vegan Babe cookbook for my program. So, couple questions along your journey. Who are the people that really inspired you as you're going down this food blogger content creator journey?
Two people come to mind right away. One of them is Gary V, which I
Hmm.
feel like everybody would know him. He always just talks about doing stuff that you're passionate about, that you love, that make you happy, and he's always kind of like pushing content creation and to provide value. That's always in the back of my mind. I can always like hear his words, or if anybody else asks me how to do it, I just say be consistent and always provide value. Like I always think to myself with every video, well, obviously it's recipe, so it's easier. But if I do something other than a recipe video, I'm always thinking, how am I providing value to the viewer,
Yeah.
to my audience? Because I want that for my page. I don't want to waste people's time. Time is such a valuable resource. So that's always something that's in the back of my head. And everything he says about social media content creation, doing stuff that you love,
Hmm.
resonates with me so much, because I wouldn't be able to have worked 10 to 12 hours a day if I didn't love what I did,
Yeah.
if I didn't love sharing vegan recipes. So that's been a huge inspiration. And then someone who is kind of in the same niche as me who inspired me is, her name is Carly Bodrug from Plant You. So she does
Mm.
similar stuff, like whole food plant-based recipes. And she actually, I just moved to her city.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, so we literally live like 5 minutes away from each other now.
Are you doing
So
in
that's so
person stuff
awesome.
together now?
We have once, we went for dinner at an amazing vegan Mexican restaurant here in Barrie. And then we're just so busy, right? We're always like, oh, hey, come to this thing, come to this thing. But we haven't been able to meet up
You guys
again.
need
But
to do like a collaboration reel on like doing like a cook off or something crazy
I
fun.
know,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, we definitely have to do something like that.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for sharing your inspirations. It's always things I always like to call out is it's so much easier like to find your way in a new career if you like model people who are already successful,
for sure,
consume their
for sure.
content. Like now you're super big, but like you started like from zero. Like all of us, like we all have to start from zero, but instead of trying to figure everything out yourself, like you modeled the people that inspired you.
Of
And
course, yeah.
instead of like being like, oh, like I'm competing with them, it was more like, you saw them as like future like peers and friends and colleagues. So
Hmm.
that's really awesome. Do you have any like mistakes, like if you could like go back to your younger self and be like, hey, you wasted so much time doing this, like don't do that, or like don't
Yeah.
don't try that, like anything that you can share?
Well, definitely undercharging and not knowing my worth, because I could have been making a lot more money earlier. So definitely, I wish I reached out earlier,
Mm,
because I was working for months so hard. I'm like, why am I not making like enough money to live off of this when I'm working so hard? And
yeah.
right when I reached out, I was like, oh, that's why. It was kind of like a light bulb moment. So I wish I had kind of formulated those relationships a little bit earlier on.
Yeah.
And then something else that I've recently noticed is just with my blog, because blogging is so difficult. You have to really know SEO optimization. I've wasted so much time trying to write my blog a certain way because I took a wrong course. I don't know if anybody's ever interested in going into the blogging world. Make sure you get a blogging course from an actual SEO expert. I did a course from like some random blogger,
Mm,
and I've basically been writing my blog wrong this whole time. So
mm,
I wish I was a little bit more careful with the course that I chose, because now I'm just fed up with my blog. Now I'm just like, I'm just going to get somebody else to write it for me. I'm
yeah.
over it.
That's really incredible insight right there. Is like if you ever purchase a class or online training or really anything, like the person better be super successful at what
Hmm.
it is they're selling, right?
For
Like it's
sure.
crazy to me when people sign up, like with fitness trainers who aren't in shape. I'm just
I
like
know. I don't
okay,
get
if
that
they're
either.
not doing it, how are they going to get you to do it? And do
I
you know what I
know.
mean? And
I
like
don't
I
get
don't
it.
mind like I know fitness trainers who are like, not in like picture perfect like dream like shape, but they've lost like
Hmm.
150 pounds. So that person
Hmm.
who's
Hmm.
lost like 150 pounds, or that person who needs to lose 150 pounds, they're a perfect coach for those people. But like when I
Hmm.
see people who are more fit than their trainer, I'm like, what are you
Hmm.
doing?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like how are they gonna get you further than you are if they're not like so I always tell people to
For
like
sure.
hire coaches that are ahead of you in any area. So whether it's
For sure.
business or fitness or relationships or whatever.
Hmm.
Do you have any recommendations on like the right SEO course to sign up for? Or like
I haven't found one yet. Someone recommended me one. I don't have it off the top of my head, but there's a great resource called Food Blogger Pro.
oh
It's
cool.
a website. I believe they also have a podcast. I think they have a bunch of informative videos as well. It's a subscription based membership. So I
Mhm.
think you pay yearly or monthly and then you have access to all of their resources online. I've heard that is really good. I
Yeah.
haven't done it yet
Yeah.
because I'm just very over my blog at the moment. I just want to pay somebody to do it
Yeah.
for me because after investing 2 years of writing my blog and now realizing that I've done it all wrong, I'm just over it.
Yeah.
Over it. Because SEO is a beast if it, in and of itself. Like there are SEO experts because
Yeah.
there's a lot that goes into it. That's why the recipe posts are always a whole novel of where these cookies came from. It's my grandma's recipe and my dog ate them. Love them, like all these. That's why there's a novel because like there's all these little things that go into SEO with keywords and it's a lot. So
Yeah.
it's a beast in and of itself.
Well, you're probably at the point where it actually makes more sense for you to hire somebody to do it versus you spending your time on it, right? Because
Of course,
you
yeah,
should be like, at the level of success you're at now, like you should be hyper focused on like the stuff that only you can do
of course,
and like pay other people to do all the things that like they're probably better at anyways.
yeah, of course,
And I'm
yeah.
guessing you don't really enjoy writing a blog and trying to figure out SEO.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking to hire it out now. I'm just I'm looking around. Haven't found the right person yet, but
Yeah.
definitely soon.
Well, if anyone's listening and this is what you do and you're really good at it, like reach out to Stephanie
Yes,
because she's
definitely.
ready to hire. Any other kind of like tools or tips or resources that you would say like, to the somebody who's just kind of like getting started in this world? Food blogger pro, obviously, following
Yeah,
and engaging with the people that inspire you, niching
yeah.
down and really following your passion within the
Hmm.
the world of food. But like any other kind of like resources or tips or tools that you highly recommend?
Yeah, we just say just start. You don't need fancy equipment. I use
Mm,
my iPhone to film and I edit on an app called Splice, which I know you love as well. It's
yep.
very user
Thanks to
friendly.
you. Well, yeah. So, by the way, people, I reached out to Stephanie because I was so inspired by her reels and her video editing. I was like, "What app are you using to do this?" And she told me. And for me, like, I feel like once you find the right tool that really works for you, then it makes everything so much easier. Like just for whatever reason, Splice is super intuitive to me. I don't have to like read
Hmm.
instruction manuals on how to do it. And like I was one of those people who've like tried to do video editing on their computer and was like, this is like I'm never gonna do this.
It's too much. Yeah. I started with that as well, like exporting everything over to my computer and then bring it back. It's just too much. You don't need all that stuff. Like there's people who have millions of followers and they're still filming on their iPhone. Like the quality of the phones are so high now that you really don't need fancy equipment. So you can do everything on your phone and
Yeah.
do not edit in the Instagram and TikTok app. It will kill you. It is the worst because it just crashes all the
Yes, I
time,
was just
and
gonna say that.
it's
Before you told me about Splice, I'd be like I spent like 45 minutes working on a reel. It
yeah,
crashed and it like disappears, and I'm like, oh
and it's
my
gone.
god.
Yeah, it's the worst. Yeah, learn that learn that quickly. Never look back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just go to YouTube. You can learn everything on YouTube, and yeah, getting inspired by other creators, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Just starting
Yeah, I think
is
starting is the biggest one, actually.
for sure.
And like progress over perfection, right? Like you just have to start
Of
like cuz
course, yeah,
everyone sucks when they first start. Like,
for
I'm
sure,
sure your
for
first
sure.
kind of like food videos were like terrible compared to like what you do
Oh
now.
yeah, yeah. I was looking at them the other day and just laughing
Yeah.
about everything.
It's fun to see how far you've come though when you do look at those.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Awesome. Okay. Well, let's segue into obviously, vegan, fitness is kind of like really a big part of your story because, kind of kicked off with like how you got into all this was because you just wanted to show people how incredible vegan food could be. Because, I'll admit, before I was vegan, I thought vegan was like, the most bland, boring food in the world. And like, I would never go vegan because, like, why would I want my food to be so freaking boring?
hmm
So, let's start with like, why did you go vegan 6 years ago? Like, how did that happen?
Well, I was the same as you. I thought vegans were absolutely nuts. I was like, why do you want to restrict yourself and not eat all this delicious food in the world? What are you going to eat, like salads every day? So I was on the same page as you. Leading up to the whole week when I went vegan, I ate a medium pizza. I was in university at the time. I ate a medium pizza to my face every single day for like 5, 6 days straight. And then I was just procrastinating one day because I had exams, and I stumbled upon this YouTuber who had just gone vegan, and she said, if you have ever been interested or you want to learn more, check out this speech. It's called "The Best Speech You'll Ever Hear" by Gary Yourofsky, which was a phenomenal speech. It's a little bit older. He's basically a activist, so his speech kind of went over everything: the health, environment, the animal welfare aspect. It went over everything, and my mind was just blown. And I just binged watched every single documentary that I could find back to back to back. And I just made the switch immediately because I just made the connection that I just didn't want to be spending my dollar. I didn't want my dollar to go towards any of the suffering, and I just want to be healthier and happier. And yeah, and that
Yeah.
was it.
We'll link to that the best speech you'll ever hear in the show notes. So if you're listening, you don't have to go like Google it or try to find it or whatever. We'll find it for you and it'll be in the show notes. It is always interesting to hear this. I feel like for a lot of people, like once your eyes are opened or you see like kind of what happens in the kind of animal product world, like you
hmm
almost like can't unsee it.
No. Well, it can fade into the background, I find. With some, some people will see maybe like one video, you'll see something on YouTube or something, or like on Instagram. You're like, oh my God, and it kind of stays in your brain. But then just with the world that we're in, you go to the grocery store, everything is so neatly packaged and it's a little
Yeah.
cellophane wrapper. You just kind of forget about it.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah,
is what
and
it is.
I always say like in pretty much every podcast episode or when I talk to people, like I'm not like personally a vegan zealot. Like I don't think like people are bad people if they're like not
Mm-mm.
vegan. I just think the more plants that you eat, the better you're treating the environment, the better the lower your impact on all living beings, and
Mm-hmm.
like the longer you're gonna live, the healthier you're gonna be.
Of course.
So that's kind of always been my thing. Now, there's nothing wrong with the people that are like hardcore zealots. I'm just not one of them.
Yeah.
So I always like to call that out because like my podcast is not like a vegan podcast. It's more just like it's really about empowering people to live a life worth living, whatever that means to them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the fit rich vegan lifestyle is like, I think it's a great lifestyle for a lot of people, and seeing people like you thrive on it and so many other my like friends in the world of vegans is really awesome. So you basically transitioned overnight. Like you saw the documentaries and you just went like cold turkey, or did you ease your
Yeah,
way in?
cold turkey.
Okay.
That was
How was those
it.
first couple weeks? Like what did you eat?
Oh, it was horrible. It was just mush. Like I would try to make stir fries and it would just be like a brown pile of mush on my plate. I just remember, I don't even remember exactly what I was making. It was not good. It was not good. So I took to the internet and I looked up vegan recipes, and there was actually quite a fair bit online at the time, about like 6 years ago. There's way more now.
Yeah.
So it's even easier now.
Yeah.
But yeah, also the family and friends aspect was tough as well, because it's hard to go out and, you know, get ridiculed by everybody. And I didn't have the knowledge yet to stand up to them and tell them exactly why I went vegan. So
Mhm.
it would just be very frustrating for me.
Mhm.
But then I would just gain knowledge. And now I love going to dinners and events, rebuttaling everybody in a nice, calm, cool, collected way.
Yeah. So how long until you kind of like started to actually enjoy your vegan food? Like like how long until you started to figure out how to like prepare and cook your own like vegan food that was awesome?
Really remember, I don't think it was that long for me personally, because I've always been a fairly good cook. I always cooked with my mom growing up, so
Mhm.
I had that knowledge base already. So it probably wasn't too long. I think it took me a while to start cooking with tofu though. I definitely was not a high protein vegan at first. I only started weight training after I went vegan, probably about a
Mhm.
year after I went vegan. So the high protein stuff wasn't really on my radar.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was probably just like a lot of pastas, a lot of pizzas with no cheese, like very simple stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of stir fries.
Awesome. So I'm curious, a lot of people like one of the most common question of like and all vegans know this, so apologies to all the vegans listening, but all the non-vegans always ask, so where do you get your protein? So can you help me suss out that answer for those who aren't vegan and are just like unable to comprehend where we get protein? Like where does that vegan babe get her protein?
Definitely. So protein is found in pretty much all foods, fruits, vegetables, grains, in varying amounts, obviously. So if you were not to focus on getting a high protein meals in your diet, you would probably end up eating about 50 grams of protein a day, which is what the target is if you're just a sedentary human, if you're not doing weight training or anything. So you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about getting in your protein. It's basically impossible to have a protein deficiency unless you're malnourished and you're not getting in enough calories.
Yeah.
But now it's a different story if you're aiming for 100 grams of protein or more, depending on your fitness goals.
Yeah.
But there's tons of vegan protein sources. I personally always just make sure to get a protein source in at every single meal. Some of the great sources, obviously, the obvious one is protein powder, tofu, tempeh, there's seitan, mock meats. Things that you wouldn't think of are nutritional yeast, which is like a cheesy, I don't even know, like flakes almost, and it gives
Yeah.
a cheesy flavor. It's actually packed with protein. Hemp seeds, beans, lentils, powdered peanut butter is a great source. There's so many protein sources.
I
And
I
I actually,
no,
sorry, go
keep going.
ahead. I was just gonna say I actually have a post on my page going through like the top 10 protein sources. I'll
Oh,
probably
great.
be posting another one in the future as well.
I'll get that link from you and put in the show notes because that's the kind of stuff that like helps non-vegans and even longtime vegans who are like, hey, I want to actually start to build muscle and like shape my body. Because,
Hmm.
like you mentioned, like you're just by eating enough calories, you're gonna get enough protein to like be healthy.
Hmm.
But if you want to
Hmm.
build muscle and like create a certain shape of body, you're gonna like
Hmm.
have to be a little bit like more just methodical and proactive about making sure that you're actually incorporating those protein sources that you mentioned, right?
For sure.
And you don't have to take protein powder as a vegan to get enough protein. You can easily do it. You can even do it like with just focusing on like things like tofu and tempeh and seitan and TVP, which is textured vegetable protein.
Yes.
And then
Great
it gets
one.
even easier if you incorporate mock meats. And then it gets even easier if you incorporate protein powder because it's just like, pure protein.
Hmm.
And I do have to call out, I'm absolutely obsessed with peanut butter powder, like especially the sugar-free PB Fit.
It's
Like
the best.
like it has, I think, stevia and monk fruit in it, and it is just like dead serious, Stephanie. I can dry scoop it, like, because I like it.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen me dry scoop pre-workout in my
I have,
stories,
yes.
but like I can straight dry scoop like PB Fit,
Oh my
like because
goodness.
it's that, and I just like let it kind of like soak up the saliva in my mouth, and then
Okay.
it like turns into peanut butter in my mouth, and it's like you got to be
Okay.
careful you can't breathe in or you
No.
choke on it, but
No.
it is like, so for those who don't know what PB Fit or peanut butter powder is, it's basically they take peanuts and they pull out all the fat, which peanuts are like crazy high in fat. So like I used to, before I got like super fit, like I could eat like a whole jar of peanut butter, no problem. No
Same.
problem. And I wondered for years, like decades, why I never had like abs. It's because I was freaking eating too many calories and way too much
Yeah.
fat. And because I would literally eat like a jar of peanut butter like once or twice a
It's
week.
addictive.
It's crazy. But with PB Fit, it's like literally what, a third of the calories?
Yeah, a third of the calories.
Yeah, and like very little fat. And it's like
Yeah,
almost like pure protein. And it tastes like freaking peanut butter. And you can
it
mix it,
does.
you can use it as straight peanut butter. You can mix it into things to give them peanut flavor. And you have like insane number of like incredible recipes on your page using like PB Fit. So I just want to call that out. Like if you love peanut butter and you want to be fit, like you can totally just like steal all of or use all of Stephanie's like recipes, because like she makes all sorts of crazy like cookies and cakes and brownies and like all these amazing things with PB Fit, among many other things. So uh I just had to call that out because I'm pretty obsessed with PB Fit. I have it pretty much every day as
It's the
kind of,
best.
it's kind of like my dessert. So, in terms of like, why'd you get into like bodybuilding or weight training?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I always tried to be active every day. I tried so many different things. I tried yoga, running, cycling, like doing classes at the gym. Nothing ever really stuck because I never really enjoyed anything. And then about a year into when I went vegan, both my best friend and my mom started weight training and they were starting to look good, like after just a few months. And I asked
Mm,
them what they were doing, and they said that they were doing weight training. And then they gave me some YouTubers that they were following their workouts. Whitney Simmons was one, a big one. I don't remember the other ones. It was so long ago, but I would basically just go on people's YouTube channels and just use their workouts and get tips and tricks on form from them. And then I went into the gym and I immediately was in love with it because the feeling that you get after leaving the gym, your muscles are so sore, you know it's working. Like to
yeah,
me, it's like the most efficient if you're going for an aesthetic, like if you're working out for an aesthetic look, it's the most efficient way of doing it because you're bodybuilding. It's shaping your muscles
yeah,
exactly how you want them to. It's like you can shape your body however you want,
yeah,
basically.
yeah. It's like building like an awesome like car or something. You know what I mean? Or any
Exactly.
awesome like machine. You're literally like proactively designing all the different parts.
Exactly.
We have a mutual love of it. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So you've been doing that for about 5 years. Do you think it's easier or harder to be like super fit as a vegan?
I guess actually, I think it's really easy. It's hard for me to have something to compare it to because before I've only done bodybuilding as a vegan.
Yeah.
But I think it's really easy. Like at the beginning, maybe it was a little bit tougher not knowing how to get in my protein. But now that I have all the tools, I know how to get my protein, how to hit my macros. It's so easy and I feel amazing doing it. I never feel lethargic after my meals. I feel like the inflammation in my body is not high at all. Like my recovery is so much better. It's funny, like even if I have a weekend out, like if I go drinking or have like pizza and junk food all weekend, I can feel like my joints are inflamed and I'm just like so lethargic
Yeah.
when during the week or if I'm doing really, really well, I'm eating lots of whole food plant-based stuff, I can just feel myself. I'm lighter. I have more energy. My joints don't hurt at all.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a little bit harder at the beginning to kind of figure everything out, but once it's figured out, it's so worth it. It's 100% worth it because just the way you feel, just purely for that fact.
Hey there, just a few words about the incredible show sponsors for today's episode, and then we'll dig right back in. This show is brought to you by Feel Free from Botanic Tonics. This product is unlike anything I've ever had before. No joke. It's made with kava root and other ancient plants, and just half a shot gives me this incredible sense of focused flow and productivity. And I love to take just half a shot right before I work out. I take it with my pre workout, and it takes my workouts to the next level. It is seriously unlike anything I've ever had. It's also an incredible productivity tool for any big work projects that you have, or long periods of time where you just need to be super focused in flow state and get a lot of shit done. So, if you want to give this a shot, you can go to botanictonics.com and use code DRAGON at checkout to get 40% off your first order. No joke. 40% off with code DRAGON. That's Feel Free from botanictonics.com, code DRAGON. Feel free, feel good. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like, you and I both know it's not for everybody. So like bodybuilding,
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things like I always, coach people to follow the fun when it comes to your fitness. So if like,
Mm-hmm.
bodybuilding is fun for you and you're like, me and Stephanie who like we love to like proactively shape our body and like, have a vision for what we want, all the parts of our body look like, and then methodically work towards that. And we get massive satisfaction from that. If that doesn't light you up, there's nothing wrong. There's a million ways to be fit. Like just do the ones that like bring you fun. And one of the things I always encourage people is like, look at the people who have the body that you want and then
Mm-hmm.
do what they do. Just like, Stephanie was following the food bloggers that inspired her. And then she kind of like created her own thing. And, you did the same thing with your bodybuilding. You like, I'm sure from Whitney Simmons, you started there, but then you started to probably consume the content of other people that like really kind of like looked and feel the way that you wanted to look and feel. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we got to talk about your favorite vegan supplements in addition to like your kind of like favorite, high protein meals that are kind of like your weekly go-tos. So, let's cover high protein meals that are kind of like your regular go-tos every week, and then let's cover supplements.
Yeah, for sure. So for breakfast, I usually almost always go for oatmeal, like protein oatmeal, just put some protein powder in there, put some berries so you get antioxidants, and then some hemp for omegas, which is also high in protein. Or I'll go for like a yogurt protein bowl if I want something a little bit lighter, which again
Mm,
is protein powder mixed with yogurt, just because they're really easy. Those take like 5-10 minutes to make, like max.
yeah. Is there a nickname? Like I know protein oatmeal is called Protemeal. Is there a nickname for
Yeah,
yogurt protein?
I don't know. I haven't heard of one. I
Progurt?
haven't heard of
We're gonna call
Progurt.
we're we're gonna start calling it Progurt.
It's
Or
coined.
yeah. Okay, awesome. Let's what's next for the high protein meals? We got breakfast.
So I've been really loving, I always make like stews and curries that are packed with like lentils. I always crumble, if I'm making like an Indian curry or something, I'll always just crumble a block of tofu in because tofu's so flavorless. You can just put
Hmm.
it in and it will absorb all of that flavor. There's also this appliance that I recently got that has been making it so easy. It's called the Ninja Speedy. It's so cool. I did an advertisement for them, but I just love it so much. It's basically this machine that you can put your grains in the bottom and then you can put your veggies in there and your tofu on the top. So it like steams the veggies and grains and then air fries your tofu.
Oh my
You literally
god.
just throw everything in and push a button and it's done in like 15, 20
So it
minutes.
cooks your rice
It's
or whatever your grain is and steams
yeah,
your vegetables and air fries your tofu or whatever, like
or yeah, whatever
mock.
protein.
Yeah, that's
It's
amazing.
incredible. So I've been
Okay.
loving that, basically just having like a typical
Do you have a
bodybuilder
discount
meal.
code that people can use for
I
the Ninja
don't.
Speedy? Oh, come
No,
on.
I don't.
You better
They
tell
did.
Ninja that they need to
I
give you
know.
a discount code.
I know,
We'll link to
right?
the machine regardless.
Cool. I probably have a link actually that I can give you.
Oh yeah,
They
give
gave
me
me
the
a link, but
link.
there's no discount code or anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, we'll put your link in there.
cool.
Okay, awesome. What else?
And then something that I've always loved, and if you haven't tried them yet, you have to, chickpea cookies. They're so good. And I don't really track my macros that much anymore, but I tracked it for a video and I had a chickpea cookie. This cookie has 9 grams of protein in it. I
That's
had no
awesome.
idea. And it's delicious. It's literally made of chickpeas, peanut butter, maple syrup, and then like some baking powder and baking soda and a pinch of salt. And that's it. You just blend it and chocolate chips. Blend it and bake it. It's delicious.
I'm gonna have my
And
wife make
then
that ASAP.
yeah, I'll send you the recipe.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing. And
Yeah,
it's super
it's
low fat too because you're just using PB Fit, right?
no, I use regular peanut butter. So
Okay.
it's probably a little bit higher in fat,
Now, could you use
but they're
PB Fit with
delicious.
it? Or does
I don't know. I'd have to, I think you would need like a little bit of a fat source, maybe do half half.
hmm Or could
Yeah.
you put in something, and I know nothing about cooking. I'm like the most like basic utilitarian cooking. My wife is the cook. Could you use something like guar gum or something to thicken it and just use PB Fit, or do you need something that is like fatty and oily?
Yeah, I think you would need something with a like a little bit of fats just because it
Okay.
makes it more moist, especially with
Gotcha.
baking. That's why they have like some sort of fats or oil even sometimes because it makes it more like moist and fluffy.
hmm Okay.
But yeah, maybe I should make a recipe with just powdered peanut butter and see.
Yeah, you should. And
Yeah.
then if it works out, you can let me know, and if not, like you can let me know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got chickpea cookies, which sound freaking delicious.
They're so good. And then something that I've been loving recently since I started my high protein vegan meal prep series. I love having those meals on hand. And there's something I posted it recently, freezer burritos, and I just filmed this other one. It's basically like an egg McMuffin freezer sandwich, like a freezer breakfast sandwich. So you just make them, batch a whole bunch, keep them in the freezer, and then you can reheat them in the microwave, oven, or air fryer, or like a combination of them. And I have been loving those because it's so easy. You just take it out, pack with protein, pack with veggies, pop it in, heat it up, and you're good to go.
I'll link to them in the show notes, but you have to send me that, like, because dead serious, I have a client who is like all about meal prepping, and she's like wants more like super like stuff that she can like make in bulk like that, and then like it stores forever. So like on the days she doesn't have time, or the weeks that she doesn't have time to do as much meal prep, or if she like just
Mm-hmm.
needs something extra, so that's awesome. Those like freezer burritos sound freaking amazing. And then you were saying
Yeah.
something about some sort of like freezer egg thing? Like
Yeah,
what
it's
was
basically like a vegan egg McMuffin.
Oh,
So
cool.
the egg is made from tofu, and then the sausage is made from TVP and like some spices. There's some fennel in there to kind of give it that sausage flavor. And then
Mhm.
I do put vegan cheese on that one because you can't have an egg McMuffin without cheese. And then you put it on the whole wheat English muffin and pop it in the freezer.
Oh, it's so cool. And then you just cook up a bunch of them and have them for a few weeks.
Yeah, it's so great.
That's
It's so
awesome.
great because yeah, so I've really been loving those lately.
Yeah, and also you're making me so hungry right now. I'm not even joking. Okay, anything else? Any other kind of like desserts or any other things that like obviously the chickpea cookies, any other kind of like things that are really like, your go-to items right now in your life?
That's pretty much it. Like the yogurt bowl is a very big go-to for me now because I can have that for dessert as well, or just a snack because it takes like 2 seconds to make. You just mix it in and put some fruit on, call it a day.
Yeah.
Those are like
Okay.
pretty much all my go-tos right now.
Okay. And then, what supplements do you take as a fit rich vegan?
Well, I take the veg, the best protein on the
Yeah.
market, the best pre-workout. I take their protein powder and then their pre-workout and the pump, and I'm gonna start taking the creatine again consistently this
Awesome.
time.
Yeah, why'd you stop? I know you asked me about it. Like, can I share the story when you asked me
Yeah.
about it? So Stephanie, she like DMs me and like, she's like, is there something crazy in the creatine? Because I just get like so freaking focused like when I take it. And I was like, yeah, there's lion's mane in there, which is like basically a mental enhancer. And so
Yeah.
that was a hilarious story because you're like, is there like some crazy drugs in here? Uh,
Yeah.
but I'm curious, like, why'd you stop?
I just kind of I don't know like because I usually would mix it in my pre-workout on my pump, but I don't
Uh-huh.
like the flavor that it gives that because I love the flavor of the pre-workout and the
Oh, yeah.
pump. And the creatine was
What's your
kind of like,
favorite pre-workout
oh,
flavor?
watermelon,
Okay.
hands down, watermelon for
Okay.
sure.
I'm all about the
So,
Patriot Pop because to me, it's the best dry scoop taste. So,
okay.
yeah, I'm a dry scooper. Like, if I want to drink it, I'll drink the watermelon or the peach mango because those taste incredible. The Patriot Pop tastes good in water, but not as good as the watermelon and
Hmm.
the page or the peach mango. But okay, we got the
Yeah,
watermelon
I
pre
tried
workout.
dry scooping once and it was I inhaled, so it
Can't
was
breathe.
just a horrible experience.
You can't breathe
I've
when
just
you
been like
dry scoop.
scared ever since. No.
Yeah, proceed with caution when you dry scoop.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other supplements? And it's okay if they're not like veg. This isn't like a, a veg only company. I'm just curious as a fit vegan if there's any other supplements that you kind of are your regular go-tos.
Those are the main ones, and then I'll also take something to get my B12 omegas and vitamin D in because in Canada we don't get a lot of sunlight.
Mhm.
So I'll either take the Veg Daily Essential or I'll
Mhm.
take AG1 Athletic
Mm.
Greens, which has
Oh,
vitamin
that's
D,
weird. I didn't
B12.
realize they AG1 did have that in there.
Yeah, it doesn't have omegas. So I kind of like rotate based on how I'm feeling. So I'll take like AG1 and then just like a random omega supplement. I'll take
Mhm.
that one day. And then another day, I'll take the veg essential, like all in one, because that has everything in it.
Great.
It kind of honestly, depending on if I want to taste AG1 that day, which it is delicious, but sometimes I'm just like lazy and I don't want to make it.
Yeah.
And then I'll take their turmeric supplements as well from veg,
Okay.
just
Great.
to help
And I
for
assume,
inflammation.
like, for those who don't know, like, Stephanie is a Veg Elite athlete, part of the team. Her discount code is that vegan babe. So you'll get,
Vegan, just vegan, babe.
oh, sorry, vegan babe.
Yeah.
Good clarification there. So you'll save and support her and the work that she does if you use her code. And then I assume for AG1, do you have a discount code as well?
No discount code for them.
You just like it.
I have a
Okay.
link. I have a link.
Okay.
But I don't
Uh,
think it doesn't give you a discount, but it gives you their immunity bundle, it's called. So you'll get a supply of vitamin D3. Oh, sorry. So the D3 is actually separate.
okay.
So it's like a supply, I think it's like a 2 year supply of vitamin D. You'll get their shaker cup and like a holding canister and then some travel packs as well for free.
Okay, cool. I'll get that referral link from you, and we'll put in the show notes for those
Sweet.
who I've never had AG1, so I don't like I have no idea about it, but Stephanie seems to be a fan. So I wanted to ask you what like your workout looks like. Like let's look at like a week. Like how do you actually how what does your bodybuilding split look like? If you don't mind sharing for those who are interested.
For sure. I actually just switched it up. I actually just started a program. It's not like a custom program or anything. It's by some guy called Brett Contreras. I don't know if you've heard of him before, but he's basically like the glute master. He
Ah.
actually coined the hip thrust in 2006. He invented the hip thrust. So his like literally, I literally Googled it today because it says that on his Instagram, and I Googled it, and his name literally comes up, and he invented the hip thrust in 2006. So
That's
his
hilarious.
life mission has been to grow glutes and to study glutes. He's very science backed. So
Hmm.
I'm doing one of his programs now, which is like unlike anything I've ever done before. Usually I would do just 3 leg days and then 2 upper body days, full upper body days.
Hmm.
But now this one I'm basically hitting legs 5 times a week.
Oh my
But
god.
but it's kind of spread out. I really like it, and I've been doing it for a month, and I swear my glutes have already grown. So
Yeah.
I'm really loving it. So it's basically like 3 full body days, and you
Hmm.
only do you do two like big compound movements like squats or deadlifts on those days, and then one like accessory movement like cable kickbacks for the glutes, and then you do some upper body stuff as well. So it's basically three full body days, and then the other 2 days are band work. So you just do like 20 minutes of banded work for your glutes, which I would never do
Yeah.
usually, because the way he says it's like it's just like extra volume that you're getting in without actually hindering your muscle, what's the word I'm looking for, without actually hindering your muscles like ability to
Hypertrophy.
recover.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm also adding in, because I'm right now I want to work on my pull-ups. I'm doing some pull-up training as well.
Oh,
I'll
cool.
do pull-ups 2 or 3 times a week with some other like back exercises to help me improve that.
That's awesome.
I just want to rip pull-ups
Yeah. And I'm curious. So 5 days a week you're working out?
5 days a week. Yeah.
Okay. And do you do like 5 on, 2 off, or do you do like 2 to 3 on and then 1 off, or how do you structure that?
Yeah, so I kind of just listen to my body.
Hmm.
Like if I'll go maybe 3 days, and if I'm really fatigued, then I'll take that as a rest day. And I'll split up the rest days for sure, because usually if I'm really sore and I take one rest day, then I'm pretty much good to go the next day.
Yeah. What do you do
Yeah,
on your
and
rest days?
I do nothing on my rest days because I include mobility as well on the days that I work out. Just before or after, I'll do lots of stretching and foam rolling because I just to prevent injury and to help with
Hmm.
recovery as well. But my rest days are total rest days.
Nice. Like, do you
Yeah.
even go for a walk, or you just sit on the couch all day?
No, yeah, I go for walks. I have dogs, so
Oh, okay.
we go. And where we live as well, there's beautiful nature walks, like a 5-10 minute drive where we can just like rivers and streams. So we go for tons of walks.
Hey there, just a few words about the incredible show sponsors for today's episode, and then we'll dig right back in. Today's show is brought to you by Fit Rich Vegan. If you're ready to get in the best shape of your life, double your income, and 10x your savings and investments, then this is the coaching program for you. But wait a minute, Dragon. Isn't this your coaching program? Heck yeah, it is. I spent the last 8 years mastering my fitness and my finances, and I've built an incredible coaching program with an incredible team to help you get the body of your dreams and finally achieve that level of financial success that you've been seeking. So, if you want to find out if you're a good fit for the program, go to fitrichvegan.com and book your free consultation today. Or you can just DM me on Instagram with the words Fit Rich Vegan, and we can chat about if it's going to be a good fit for you. I'm committed to empowering people to actually achieve their fitness and financial goals. I spent the last 20 years trying to figure this out on my own. And what I realized is the key to doing it is not doing it alone. You have to have coaches, you have to have mentors, and you have to be a part of masterminds. And that's exactly what Fit Rich Vegan has. It has coaches, mentors, and it is a mastermind. So, again, if you're ready to book your free consultation today, go to fitrichvegan.com or drop me a DM on Instagram. Couple more questions for you. Would there be any advice that you give a younger version of yourself? And this could be like fitness or life or career or relationship or anything. I just feel like, there's always somebody who's like a younger version of you who's like looking to like speed up their own journey. And I'm just curious if you have any things that you would tell a younger version of yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely say know your worth and make
Mm,
sure you're not undercharging because leaving money on the table. But
yep.
another really big one that I've noticed in my life, just looking back now, is just choosing your circle wisely.
Mm.
Because as you know, we've talked about this before. Like we were in the bartending
Oh, yeah.
industry, entertainment industry, which is it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of partying, it's a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
So
You
I
literally
noticed when I
become who you hang out with. And
exactly,
yeah, you're also a product of your
exactly.
environment. Like if you're in a bar, what are you going to do? Like,
For sure, for sure. I mean, I enjoyed that time very much, but
oh,
then
me too.
yeah, but then once I left, I kind of cut ties with so many people, and then I realized that I needed to start making friendships and connections with people who inspired me.
Yeah.
who I would look up to. We could both learn from each other. I kind of wish I did that a little bit earlier
Mm.
because I only really did that like in my 20s.
Yeah,
But
don't worry. I
something,
didn't do it till my 30s, so you're way far ahead of me.
and
Like,
we're still doing great.
yeah. It's never too late to start a new life.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, those are great. Know your worth. Choose your inner circle wisely. I think you kind of said it, but just to kind of draw it out, like basically, like choose your inner circle that like basically like cultivates the life that you want to live. So like identify the people that are living the lifestyle that you currently want to live, even if you're not living it, and then become with
Hmm.
friends with people who are already doing it. Like it seems so
Exactly.
like obvious, but I think people just like kind of like default their friends for a long time. And like you
For
don't
sure.
necessarily need to cut all your friends because maybe you're the inspiration for one of your old friends who
Hmm.
like is also looking to make a transition. So I always like to
Hmm.
mention that.
Definitely. Yeah.
Any other kind of wise advice for your younger self?
No, I think that's everything.
Okay. What is your version of the fit, rich, vegan life? Like, what does that look like to you?
Yeah, to me, that just means doing something I love, that I'm excited to do and passionate about every day. Smashing fitness goals, eating yummy, delicious, high protein, vegan food,
Hmm.
having relationships, and just having fun.
Awesome. Yeah. Fun is a big key to a rich life to me, right? Like, if you're not having
Definitely.
fun, what's the point? Okay. And a related question, like, how do you proactively design and truly live a life worth living for you?
A big one for me to do that is just listening to my gut and my intuition.
Mm,
If I find that I'm hanging out with a group of people or someone and I'm just feeling very drained afterwards, that's kind of like a sign to me. I'll really listen to my intuition that way. And like you say, I totally agree with this. Just follow the fun. Figure out your passion. Like no matter how long it takes, just keep working towards it, and it's the way to
yeah.
do it.
Work towards it for 8 months, 10 to 12 hours a day, and then finally it'll actually like pay you. Uh,
Yeah, exactly.
awesome. So what's next for you? Like what are you most excited about? What are you looking, what are you really looking forward to next?
So I'm really excited to start growing the fitness aspect of my life and my page because I've been in the food blogging space for so long. I just
Mhm.
started my fitness page, Vegan Babe Fitness. So I'll be posting more stuff there. And I just want to show people more uh, about that fitness side, that you can be fit. You can have high protein vegan recipes and just kind of help people more on the weight training and fitness side of things.
Awesome. We'll link to your page there too. And she has awesome content. I was watching one of your like leg press tutorial videos about like how to target different parts of the legs using the leg press with different feet stances. And I was like, this is really good stuff. So definitely,
Ooh,
if
thanks.
you're, it doesn't even matter if you're a male or a woman, like she has great content on there. So definitely go check it out. In addition to like, if you want to radically upgrade your food, in your life, her content and her recipes are out of this world. Awesome. Any last words of wisdom that you'd like to leave the audience with?
just start just start whatever you want to do and have fun with it and keep going, and you can really do anything you set your mind to. If you love it, that will resonate with people, and it'll just work out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Just start. Like,
Yeah, just start.
there's that funny saying that's like the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, but the second best time is today. So like
Yes.
whatever you want to grow into, like you got to start. So Stephanie, thank
Hmm.
you so much. Everybody, you can find her at That Vegan Babe on Instagram, blog That Vegan Babe. We'll link to her fitness page as well. And deeply appreciate you coming on the show, sharing your life and your story and all your expertise and wisdom with us. And of course, like we said, like everything will be in the show notes, so you don't need to worry about Googling anything. Thank you so much, Stephanie. I appreciate you
Yes.
coming on.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure as always.
Thanks for tuning in. And remember, literally everything can be used as an opportunity to learn, to heal, to grow, and to transform. So whatever is going on in your life, choose to consciously and proactively harness that energy and use it to alchemize your life to the next level. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with a friend or on your favorite social media and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. As always, you can find me at Justin David Carl on Instagram and all the socials, as well as at alchemizelife.com on the web. Until the next time, sending you lots of energy and plenty of dragon magic.